Welcome in, everyone. I'm Bill Rohland, and this is George Mason University's Women's Basketball Atlantic 10 Media Day. We are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the women's basketball team, Nyla Milleson, going into her sixth season here at Mason. And, Coach, you're coming off the most successful season in George Mason women's basketball history. Number of wins. You get the first ever postseason victory in the WNIT last year, a fourth-place finish. How do you top a season like that?
Our goals are the same. We're certainly going to look a lot different than we did last year, but last year gave us a lot of confidence, a lot of momentum, and I know we've got a group of girls that are working very, very hard every day. Obviously,
you lost two big seniors. One of them, of course, the Atlantic 10 Player of the Year, Natalie Butler, but also Taylor Dotson, who had been a four-year player for you and a big part of that team as a leader. How do you feel the void, not only scoring, but the leadership that those two brought?
Absolutely. Two great seniors that brought very different but yet very same complementary attributes to our team. So again, our team is taking that as a challenge because we hear that a lot, particularly with Natalie. So they're coming in every day. They're working. Our two captains are senior Casey Davis, who's been here for 5 years, and Jacy Bolton, who was a captain last year. So continue to move forward.
And obviously not only the two captains, but the cupboard's not bare. You have talent, and it obviously starts with Nicole Cardano-Hillary, your sophomore, coming back off after an A-10 season where she was Rookie of the Year, third team All-Conference, led the conference in steals. I would imagine most things start and begin with her.
They do. Absolutely. Nikki is playing at a very high level. There's some things that we've challenged her to continue to be better as she grows and mature. Jacy Bolton is playing at a very high level. Sarah Kaminsky started for 2 years. So the cupboard is not bare. We're just, again, as I said, we're going to be a little different than we were last year.
Obviously, with Natalie Butler, you're able to play more inside game. I would imagine maybe more four guards, or at least a stretch four type lineup. You seem to be pretty stacked there in the backcourt.
You sound like you've watched lots of basketball games, so we are. We're going to a little bit more four guard look. Not that we still won't put two posts on the floor, but more of a four guard, open the floor up a little bit. Probably won't be quite as many post touches as there were last year, but very, very excited.
This A-10 obviously is a very tough league. 7 teams made the postseason last year, including yours. What's it like night in and night out to go? I mean, there are no days off in the A-10.
No days off. Very well coached, great players, great atmosphere. So you've got to be ready every night. I think the big thing is just not much margin for error in what you do. The teams are very well scouted. We know them, they know us. So it really comes down to, yes, scout specific, but doing what you do and doing it to the best of your ability.
A-10 postseason tournament, conference tournament in Duquesne this year, up in Pittsburgh. What does your team have to do if they're going to be there that final day of the tournament to cut down the nets?
We're going to have to play with confidence all year. We're going to have to play together. I like what this team is doing in terms of team chemistry, sharing the basketball. So, you know, we need off to a good start in the non-conference. In athletics, it's a lot about confidence, a lot about momentum, and, try to play hard and do what we do every night.
Coach, I know you're going to challenge this young team early in the schedule. A couple of Power 5 schools. You go to the University of Kansas and the University of Washington as well.
We definitely have set up a challenging schedule. We're very, very excited to be able to go to Fog Allen Fieldhouse and play KU, but we have a couple of really, really good local teams. We're playing American. We're going to Delaware. We have some home games thrown in there, a couple of places, but this team is really stepping up to the challenge, and it starts every day in practice, and they're just doing a terrific job.
It's head coach Nyla Milleson. We were also able to catch up with a couple of her players, one of her captains and the reigning A-10 Rookie of the Year. I'm here with sophomore guard of the George Mason women's basketball team, Nicole Cardano-Hillary, third team All-Conference last year and the A-10 Rookie of the Year. This is take 5. I get 5 questions, Nicole gets 5 shots. So let's start off. First question for you, Nicole. Last year, again, as we talked about, third team All-Conference, Rookie of the Year. Your team finished number 4 in the conference. How do you top a great season like that?
Honestly, as a team, I'd love to finish higher in the rankings, but as an individual, I'd love to stay with my defensive all-team because that's very important to me as a player. So I'd love to keep that and keep it going throughout the years.
All right, Nicole, question number 2. Last year you guys had Natalie Butler, the A-10 Player of the Year. She graduates. How do you make up for the scoring that she did down low? Do you guys feel any pressure to make up for that?
You know, honestly, we're really going to miss Natalie Butler. She was a great addition to our team, but I'm really confident in our teammates to, you know, pick up the scoring, and, you know, we're all going to work as a team, and it's going to be great.
All right, question 3, Nikki. Obviously, you came from Spain when you were 12 years old, moved to Texas, and then came from Texas here to the East Coast. Talk to me about what it was like to go from those different countries and lifestyles and the East Coast and Texas and Spain. What's that been like for you?
I mean, the cultures are very different, and I miss Spain a whole lot, but coming here and, you know, to Spain, I mean, coming here to Texas and Virginia, it's really been a great experience, and I've learned a lot, and I couldn't, you know, learn this from anywhere else, so.
All right, question 4, the A-10, very competitive league, tough places to play. How do you stay motivated every night?
You know, honestly, I get really excited to play competitive teams. I think it, you know, it creates an environment for your teammates and for, you know, even the people watching. I think that I get really excited for those kinds of games, and I think it just motivates us to play even harder.
All right, last question, Nikki. Number 5, you led the A-10 in steals last year. You're on the all-defensive team. How do you stay motivated on defense when you're asked to do so much on offense as well?
You know, honestly, like I said, defense is a very big part of my game, and I take a lot of pride in it. And I think that, you know, getting steals is very exciting. And, I mean, the motivation is just, you know, playing hard. And as they say, defense wins games. So I want to win games.
It's Nicole Cardano-Hillary. That was Take 5 here with the George Mason women's basketball team. We're here with Jacy Bolton, a junior on the George Mason women's basketball team. And Jacy, we're going to go 94 feet, find out a little bit more about you and your team. So let's get started. You started all 62 games over your career here the first couple of years. Your team loses seniors and Taylor Dotson and Natalie Butler off last year's team, so you're expected to step up and be a leader. What's that going to be like for you?
They both set great examples for us last year, and I was kind of right behind them, just watching them, see what they did. And we just got to take that and carry it over to this year.
Last year, you guys had the most successful season in George Mason women's basketball history. You got a win in the WNIT. How do you take that momentum from last year and carry it over here into 2018-19?
We got a little bit of taste of success, and I think we want more of it, so we're just going to use that and take it into this year.
The Atlantic 10, 7 different teams, including your own, made it to the postseason. It's one of the toughest conferences out there in college basketball. What's it like, the challenges day in and day out playing in the Atlantic 10?
I mean, it's a daily grind every day. We have to play our best every single game, every single practice, and it's good competition, and that's what we like.
Over the summer, was there one thing that you particularly worked on in your game to get yourself a little bit better, to get prepared going into this season?
I think I really just worked on my leadership and being that person to step up since I was behind Taylor and Natalie.
When you look at everything that's gone on with this team over the past couple of years, again, you've started all 62 games. What's the one thing for your team to be successful if you're going to cut down the nets up there at Duquesne at the end of the season?
I think we just have to have that team chemistry and then take what we have off the court and bring it to the court.
It's 94 feet with Jacy Bolton, a junior on the George Mason women's basketball team. All right, it's great to catch up with both Jacy and Nikki. And Coach, your first game is coming up on November 6th. Tell me what you've got coming up for that home game.
Super excited. Loyola, Maryland coming in, doubleheader with the men. We're at 4 o'clock. Come catch us.
It's Nyla Milleson. I'm Bill Rohland. This has been your Atlantic 10 women's basketball preview for George Mason University.